Welcome everyone to In Love with Kimberly Michael. My apologies for being late. I just got back into town and I was rushing. So I'm going to call him by his full name on Facebook because I really want you guys to follow him. And I'm going to call him Sniper. And but I want you guys to follow him. That's okay for me to tell your Facebook name, right?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And it's because first of all, I don't agree with everything he says, and we know that about each other, and that's a beautiful thing. But he's got a lot of shit to say. He's got a book. We're gonna follow him. We're gonna promote him. We're gonna reach out. So on Facebook, he is Intellectual Sniper. And you can follow him there. He has a book, and we're going to let him talk about that. But if you are listening, subscribe, like, comment, and share the shit out of the show. And interact in our chats. If you want to come on, you're welcome to do so. My producer, Jim Savage, with savagecom.entertainment. We'll put a link in the comments for you guys to come on. And we're just going to jump right in. So last week, hey, Silky Savage. Hey, K Boogie. Hey, Blazer. Let me say hi to everybody. Hey, Jay. Sniper. You said right? I can call you Sniper?
Absolutely.
All right. I guess we'll do that. So just first of all, I want you to first and foremost, I want you to talk about your book and where they can get it, because that's the most important thing about tonight is promoting. So.
Okay, great. First, I want to say thank you very much for inviting me on. I appreciate your platform and appreciate your time. So I am known on Facebook as the Intellectual Sniper. I am an author, content creator, and also a speaker, public speaker, keynote speaker, etc. I am the author of currently 2 books, Supernatural Confidence, and my latest book is called When Men Were Men. My first book, Supernatural Confidence, is about addressing confidence issues in the modern world. And then my second book, When Men Were Men, is about addressing men issues that's going on in today's time. So both kind of are edgy, exciting. They come with different stories and also philosophy by me.
Love it. I mean, honestly, I love all of it. So let me let you know how you got here, because he got here not knowing that he got here. Let me just be really honest. I follow him. I'm actually a huge fan of his, even though I don't agree with everything he says. But this particular thing that he said, my biggest issue was I needed clarification. So I could only speak on it based on my perception of what you said. I could not speak on it based on your perception of it. So that's the first reason you're here. And the secondly is because I want to dissect this. I was at my bar earlier, obviously, for those of you who know me. And we were talking about you again, like you're the talk of the town right now over here with me in Birmingham. So, and I was having this same conversation with people, and there was a guy with it next to me at the bar, and he was like you. He was like, "Oh yeah, you can love a guy. You can love someone too much. Let's talk about it." So let me just first off get the quote that I specifically had last week on the show that we talked about. I'm going to do it another way. I'm not good at this. When a man is too in love with you, you're closer to death than you realize. All mental and emotional carrying of a man ends in collapse. Hashtag chess. I said, based on what you said only and what you posted and not having a conversation with you, I said it's absolutely, you can't love too much. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
Love is an emotion. And I'm not coming back off this. I'm saying the same thing. Love is an emotion. It can't be depleted. We are here to love one another on purpose.
Right.
I feel like what you were saying was that people confuse love with behaviors. So
Mm-hmm.
if you think someone loves you too much, what they are really doing is not loving you enough. They're not loving themselves enough. I'm sorry. They're not loving themselves enough. They're not secure enough with who they are. And
Mm-hmm.
so their toxic behaviors come out and they say, I love you too much. And I don't want to lose you. And I don't want you with another ninja. I want you with me. And
Mm-hmm.
then everybody goes, oh, he loved me so much. And I loved him. And I got hurt. And no, that's not what happened. Right.
Right.
But that being said, before I go further, several things. Um, Subscribe, like, comment, and share the shit out of the show. And secondly, I need you to elaborate on the comment before we go further, because again, you said some pretty strong shit. I mean, you literally used death with the word love. So I need
Right.
you to elaborate, and then I need you to elaborate on the carrying part of it, like, because I wasn't sure if you meant how you meant that. So I need both, if that's okay, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Any question is fine about the post. I
Okay.
think I was telling you before off camera that sometimes my posts can come across as confusing. Sometimes it can come across as someone didn't know what I meant. And that's why I don't mind going on someone's platform to face them and talk about it, discuss it in detail.
Mhm.
Now, of course, you said I used the word death and love because at times they are closely linked, no matter how much we want to deny that. They are. With that said, what I was basically saying is that there is a separation among how men and women love. No matter how we try to tie them together, there's a difference between the two. And in order to have a successful relationship, we have to acknowledge that difference. Now, when I was saying that a man falling too in love with a woman, what I was basically saying is that when a man is too caught up in a relationship, as far as quote unquote loving too much, he is no longer functional. He is no longer able to lead that situation to victory. Therefore, what ends up happening is he does have toxic behaviors, but we have to define those toxic behaviors because even in last week, your show, I noticed that you kept saying love too much. And then my status says too in love. You could pair them together, but they are slightly separate, in my opinion. This is just more focusing on the man too in love with the woman. So, of course, upon meeting a woman, you're going to like her. You're going to get to know her. You obviously are going to love her, as you should. I'm definitely a advocate of a man loving a woman. At
Me
the
too.
same time, when you're too caught up in that love, quote unquote, you become something else that's not love. And that's the danger part. And that's what puts women in danger. And of course, I have to say this too, as you see it all the time in the news. Unfortunately, a man murders, his ex-girlfriend, his girlfriend, his ex-wife, or etc. And sometimes even other people. and sometimes he even harms himself. Those
Right.
are components of being too in love, where it's no longer a healthy situation.
I mean, I don't disagree with any of that, which, then makes me question everything I said about you. And don't think I'm not listening. I'm just sharing the show. Everybody knows I'm not good at this shit. I don't know how to talk and share. So I shared as much as I can share.
No, no, go ahead.
So, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it, because I feel like in today's society, we cross-reference shit that don't need to be cross-referenced, right?
Right.
Because love has nothing to do with bad behavior, with your
Mhm.
trauma that you haven't addressed. It doesn't have anything to do with any type of toxicity. That's not what
Right.
it's the exact opposite. There is
Mhm.
fear and there is love, and that is a seesaw, and there's everything in between.
Right.
And we keep saying, "Oh, love, I'm not going to be in love because I got hurt. I loved him." And that's not what happened, baby.
Mhm.
You, first of all, we don't even know if you loved him really, because we don't know if you've dealt with your fucking shit. And
Mhm.
you probably didn't love him. You probably just chose badly because you still choosing from the level of insecurity that you hold about yourself and how you function. No,
Right.
you
Right.
choosing
Let
him.
let let me say this, not to interrupt you,
Go ahead.
but because I love when you say that the toxic behaviors are not love. And you're right, you're correct on that. But you have to keep in mind that to the person, or in this case, to the man that's so quote unquote too in love, it's love to him. You get that? So while in reality, no, they're not linked, they're not together, they're not in sync. But to him, you can't convince him that it's not love, right? So if a woman is backing off him and saying, "Hey, I no longer want to deal with you anymore. I no longer want to be in this relationship." In his mind, he can't psychologically process it because he's saying, "But I love you so much. Why would you want to be away from me? Why would you ever want to be not around me?"
And this is why we're here. And this is why I'm here. Because we have got to stop discombobulating the shit that we say. Like
Right.
someone has to come up and say, "You're getting it all fucked up. It's wrong." I mean, I don't totally believe in right and wrong, because some
Mhm.
people's wrong ain't somebody else's wrong, and some people's right ain't everybody's right. And
Right.
if you're and with that being said, if you're projecting hate or doing something that is out of fear and
Mhm.
out of hate, then it's not right. And I get that in the sense of what I'm saying. But for the most part, people, we can use monogamy as an example.
Right.
Okay, some people believe in monogamy, some people believe in non-monogamous relationships. You're not wrong for believing in non-monogamy, and you're
Mhm.
not wrong for believing in monogamy. It's just who you are. Not
Right.
all men are non-monogamous, not all women are monogamous. I mean, those are fucking facts. Okay,
Right.
I go by the 100% rule all the time. There's never going to be I don't care what you pick. There's
Mhm.
never going to be 100% commitment to 100% of the people 100% of the time that believe that 100% of the truth.
Right.
Never, there's not one fucking thing you can tell me that everybody believes on, except for the fact that I truly believe in love. I believe that is something that we should all focus on to
Mhm.
believe in, because there's no variance of that. You either love in a heal, hold, uh, place of wisdom,
Right.
right? Or you love out of your pain and your insecurity and your trauma, unhealed trauma. There's no, and at that point you're not, the problem is that you can't love
Right.
wholly and healy and in a place of wisdom. You
Mm.
can't operate in an effortless, selfless capacity, because you're fucking broken.
Exactly.
You're fucking
Um,
broken. You're
Let
just
me
lost,
give you
baby.
an example real quick, and this will kind of explain the status slightly. So let's say you met a quote unquote lovely gentleman,
I did.
and you guys are seeing each other, and let's say he was being extremely romantic, and he brought you some flowers to work. Just saying it.
Let's
He
just
brought
say
you
that.
some nice flowers to work, and he surprised you with them. Came at I guess, right around lunchtime. He had your name and all the nice note involved. And of course, you're smitten. You're like, wow, this is great. This is wonderful.
I am.
You didn't expect it. Maybe the coworkers kind of see what's going on too. They, chime in their comments. So it's a lovely experience. And you're kind of like taken away by that. Now, of course, later that night, you speak to him. You're just going to be so enthralled with the experience, as you should, because, a lovely man came by, surprised you with flowers and a gift and a card and all that stuff. Now, let's say he does the same exact thing the next day, right? So he
Okay.
does the same exact thing the next day. Now, it's 2 times in a row. It's still cute. It's still like, oh, he cared so much. Coworkers might chime in again, and you're like, oh, okay, this is nice. But let's say he does it again the third day. Now, the third day, regardless of how you might have felt the 2 previous days, in your mind, whether you say it out loud or just keep it to yourself, you're going to say, what's going on with this guy that he came back the third time at the same exact time to bring the same exact flowers to me? Why isn't his time elsewhere? What's going on that he would dedicate this much time to doing this? So that's where the 2 in love part comes in, is that the woman is going to question her state of being, of why she's with a guy that's dedicating time in an unhealthy way, or just proceeding in a way that's no longer quote unquote romantic. So that's where the 2 in love part comes from. When a man's 2 in love, everything starts to be questionable, because why isn't this man, he can love you, but he also can be dedicated towards doing other things that probably would keep you more attracted to him. Now, you can imagine that if he showed up a 7th day in a row, you'd probably be going crazy, and you really would start questioning his mindset. So that's where the status come from.
Okay. So let me tell you what I learned tonight before I got here. I was at my bar drinking with a couple of my guy friends.
Okay.
And I have learned to be receptive to what a man has to say to me that is intelligent, who is healed, who is whole, and who is a true leader.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to be receptive to what they're saying to me. Okay. And so tonight I got read. And listen, let me just, if you don't know me, I mean, lately, the last few months, my ass has been getting read by people that I shouldn't be getting read by, per me.
Okay.
Friends, men, and other things. And what can I say? Like, I mean, I have to address what they're saying and be receptive to it. And then I can determine whether it's something that I should hold on to, that is my truth, or it's a misconception of theirs. And today I was apparently very defensive. And I'm hoping that he comes on eventually, because he's on his way home probably from the bar. And he said, Kim, you never, ever have to defend 90% of the 10% of the women that you represent. We already know who you are as a woman. We already know how you feel. We already know how you move. We already know you. Right. You don't ever have to speak out when men are speaking on this percentage of the women, right? So with saying that, because I'm on the podcast, I'm going to say this.
Okay.
Hey, Gilly. I would love for a fucking man to send me flowers 7 days in a row. I would eat that shit up, because that's who I am. That's what I would desire in a man. And I'll tell you a story behind that. My parents have friends that they went to high school with, They've known them their entire life. My parents are in their 70s, and so are they. And this particular man was her second husband. He proposed to her on the beach. She loves the beach. He took her to the beach. He was like, and in Daytona, there's we have airplanes that fly over with advertisements for restaurants and different places that you can go on Daytona, in Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
And she, you know, they're sitting there on the beach as they normally are. And he goes, "Oh my God, look at this idiot proposing on the plane." And it said, "Pat, will you marry me?"
Mm.
And it was him. He was the idiot. And that's what he did for her. He sends her flowers to this day. I'm going to get all every week. He sends her fresh flowers. They're delivered to her, not necessarily on the same day. He sends her flowers so much that eventually the flower place that he sends her flowers from on their anniversary sends them flowers to appreciate and honor their loyalty and their love. Like, he has done this. So now they're probably 30 years in. She spent probably 10 or 15 years with her first husband, and they're probably 30 years in, and nothing has changed. He sends her flowers, fresh flowers every week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And my deepest desire is that people don't confuse love with bad behavior, obsessiveness. And one of the guys at the bar today, and I'm hoping that he comes on too, he may or may not, he said to me, my best friend's son lost his life recently because he loved his girlfriend too much. They broke up, and he wouldn't stop coming around. He didn't want her to be with anybody else. He was convinced that she was the one for him. I didn't ask for logistics. But the man lost his life. And I said, was it love? What, did he love her too much, or did he not love himself enough that he was secure in the fact that he could let a relationship go and wait to see if that's coming back to him, right? Because I don't have to explain to you, because that's really truly how love does work. It's not capitalism, you know. And I'm going to say this because I've been wanting to vent this for at least a half an hour. No, for an hour. I have a new bartender at my bar, and I said, love isn't capitalism.
Right.
She was like, look, it ain't. You know, she's like, she's probably not even 30. She's in her 20s. You know, I wanted to throw my fucking shoe at her. Because unfortunately, people think that for you to love someone, that you're going to get something in return for that.
Right.
And people say to me, well, you just gonna love motherfuckers and you ain't gonna ever they not gonna do. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna keep them around me if you don't love me and in your own sense of love.
Right.
And it's not something that I want or am anticipating or I want to embrace.
Right.
I'm still going to love you. I'm going to love you in the moment that we're in. And if there's not boundaries that we can set up in that, then I'm not going to continue to love me. I'm not going to be fucking abused.
Right.
Loving someone. But I'm also not going to love you because I want you to act a certain way, or want you to give me a certain thing, or want you to behave a certain way, or I want you to send me flowers every day. Or I want you to send me flowers once a week, or I want you to buy me this, or I want you to buy me that, or I want you to pay a bill. That's capitalism. It's literally capitalism. Love is effortless and it is selfless, and you give it because you are abundant in it. And that's what I told this guy today. I was like, are you going to give too much love to someone? Are you going to love them so much that you're going to deplete who you are? No, but you can give them energy and you can deplete your energy. You can give them behaviors and you can deplete who you are. You can decrease yourself in hopes of them giving you something back to then increase you back to the point where you need to be, then
Right.
none of that shit has anything to do with love. It has to do
Mm.
with capitalism and behavior and stupid words like reciprocation and compromise. The
Right.
bartender was mad at me because I said, fuck compromising. I'm sorry, but I'm with Eartha Kitt. Fuck a compromise. Why
Mm.
do I need to compromise with you? Us choosing dinner dates is not a compromise. Compromise is something that you truly feel strongly about,
Mm-hmm.
and you choose to compromise that for whatever reason, not necessarily the relationship. It can be for any reason. You could take a job with a company you don't necessarily care for, but you
Mm-hmm.
got to feed your babies. That's a fucking compromise.
Right.
Okay. You loving somebody and you choosing dinner or a color of the living room, that's not fucking compromise. That's just guys making decisions about how you're going to live. It's not the same.
Right.
And
Well,
so, I mean, I feel what you're saying now that you're saying it. That you're saying like there's a possibility or that people are saying this because they are confused. So basically, you're saying the same thing. It's not really loving too much. It's not loving yourself enough to heal.
it was when you go back to the young man, right? See, this is why it's so interesting that you mentioned on the before the show started, or I guess at the beginning of the show, about love and death, because he unfortunately lost his life in the perception of what? Love.
Love.
Correct. So and so if he was in his right mind, quote unquote, he probably would have stepped back and said, if I really love this girl, I will just let her go and live her life, and I'm going to go ahead and move on and do what I have to do. But you're right. It is a combination of people are confused, because you have to keep in mind that you can't convince that person that what they're doing is not love. And that's the issue. You
Yes.
can't convince them that. If you were to approach that young man and say, what you're doing is not love, you don't really love her. You're just obsessed. You're just unhealthy. You probably got some trauma that you're dealing with. You probably got some unhealed issues. He probably would look at you crazy back. You see, and that's the confusion part, is from your perspective, you're like, that's not love. And if he was going to argue from his side, he would argue all night long that he is the epitome of love. So that's where the confusion is among people who have these toxic behaviors, etc. And that's why I said, quote unquote, "to in love is closer to death than you realize." Then you realize, not saying that something's going to happen, something has to happen. But when someone is not in their right mind, unfortunately, you are closer to danger than you care to admit.
I mean, I can't even agree with you more. And death doesn't have to be actual death. I mean,
Mm,
you've decreased yourself out in the name of love for another
mm,
person, and you're defeated and your spirit is broken. I mean, you
mm,
might as well be not living in this world, because the reality is that you are defeated, you are broken, you are empty, and you have nothing to give to anyone around you,
right.
because you're in this space that you
Mm-hmm.
just cannot get out of because you're doing it in the name of love. I spent 20 years doing it. I'm not speaking like I'm holier than thou. Fuck, are you? I mean, I spent 20 years. I love him. I mean, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I meant it. I meant it. I truly fucking meant that I love this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the hardest conversations that I've had with people have been because they said to me, you didn't really love him.
Mm.
You couldn't have loved him, and he abused you like he abused you. You couldn't have loved him, and he did the things that he did.
Mm-hmm.
You don't love a man who does ABC. You you
Right.
you couldn't have loved him, so you can't be hurt.
Now, real quick, if they're saying that to you in some way. In your mind, you probably saying, but I did love him, right? Even though they're saying to you, you couldn't have loved him because he was doing these things to you. From your perspective, you're like, no, but I did love him. I was loving him despite of the situation.
That's a trick question for me. I'm going to tell you why. In my particular situation, I was diagnosed with Stockholm syndrome and PTSD. I'm very transparent about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the hardest things for me to address because I absolutely 100% did say that. I fucking loved him. I loved him out of my brokenness and out of my pain. I did not love him out of my wisdom because I didn't have any at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get that 100%. And that's why I'm doing the shit that I'm doing, because I need people to stop fucking not understanding what we're saying.
Right.
I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in the Bible, but there are truths in there. And one of the main truths that they say that I talk about is your tongue and how fucking important it is. We cannot keep, as far as I'm concerned, saying the same shit over and over again in reference to what we need to start really truly speaking about the truth about what love is, as opposed to toxic behaviors, as opposed to Stockholm syndrome, as opposed to narcissism, whatever it is you want to add into that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Yes. What if you're listening, subscribe, like, share the shit out of the show, comment, all of those things. Subscribe, like, share, and savagecom.entertainment. And so, and for everybody in the comments, let me just address some of the comments because I don't want to overlook anybody who's saying anything because everybody's important. I'm ready to another hot show. We'll skip those. Thank you. Thank you. These are my like diehard followers that I love. So, hey, Victoria, I miss saying hi to her. And Blazer Business so Blazer Business said men are truly soft these days. That's why there's no leadership in the homes and in society. Artistic app design, I'm assuming, and I don't want to agreed with him what he said. And let me just, before I go farther, let me address this. Men are truly soft these days. That's why there's no leadership in the homes and in society. I'm gonna let Sniper, because I already know what I'm gonna say. I just want him to say his idea. What do you think about what that is saying? How do you feel about that saying?
Well, given the results of modern society as of right now, I have to agree that men do not know how to lead. And part of loving a woman from a man is leadership. Because if you really love that woman, you'll dedicate yourself to, in my opinion, guiding her to victory, or I call it leading to victory. So that person, I'm sorry, I didn't remember the name, but they are correct. Blazer's correct. It's not all men. It's not saying that all men are soft, but there is a crisis as of right now that men don't know how to lead, and because they don't know how to lead, they make a lot of questionable decisions regarding the topic of tonight, which is love. So,
okay, so let me say I absolutely agree with that. I would love to say 100%, but I'm going to say this. I'm not saying until it's too much, Kim. He said until it's too much. So I got to go back because they're typing and they're moving. So men are truly soft these days. That's why there's no leadership in the homes and in society. So because my show is on accountability and it's on women, I will say this. You can't lead people who won't fucking follow. You can't lead us hostile, masculine ass women if we won't let you lead. If we will not allow you to be the men that you are intended to be, you
Mm-hmm.
see, it is a vicious cycle that we are caught up in right now as men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I on purpose I speak the way that I do. I don't care that it's a bar. I don't care that they're my drinking buddies. When they
Right.
start talking to me as black men, I'm going to fucking listen. And I'm going to verbally say to them, I am
Right.
receptive to what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying. That
Right.
doesn't mean that I am going to agree with it or alter my truth. It means that I am going to sit here and shut the fuck up as a woman
Mm-hmm.
because I am not a black man and I do not know what a black man wants. And me personally, everyone knows that I'm not going for any lighter skinned, unmelanated men. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
who am I going to listen to?
Right.
I'm going to listen to black men because I want to be a woman. Take out the race now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a woman that is prepared for a man who is ready for me in the same capacity. I
Right.
don't want do they call them beta males? Is that what they call them? Not
Beta male.
alpha. I don't want a beta male. I'm not good for
Right.
him. I'm just
Right.
saying. I talk shit and I don't want to run shit. I don't want to run shit. I
Right.
run shit now because
Mm.
I have to. I
Right.
don't have a fallback. I am an only child. I
Mm.
am single. I don't have anyone to call. I run shit, but I am self-sufficient.
Mm.
I don't go with the independent theory. I'm self-sufficient. We should
Mm.
all be self-sufficient. We
Right.
should all know how to clean our toilets and do the dishes and mop our floors and do
Right.
our laundry and pay
We
our
should.
bills. I
Right.
don't I don't I'm an independent. No, fuck being in you can't be independent and submissive. You just can't. You can't
Right.
do that. And let me just be clear, I don't fucking want to be independent. I don't want to be dependent on myself anymore. I want a partner that I can
Mm-hmm.
balance my fucking life with, that
Right.
he can balance his life with, and we can do whatever it is that we're going to do collectively as a couple and individually on a growth basis. You cannot involve yourself in a relationship where you're trying to build a relationship, but you ain't doing shit to build yourself.
Right.
You are functioning out of a place of anguish and pain, and you have no idea how to walk in your own wisdom. You cannot do any of those things. Men
Mm-hmm.
are not all soft these days.
Right.
What they are is defeated. That's not the
Mm.
same. You
Mm.
Men are defeated. They're tired of fighting with fucking women that they just met. Like, bitch, I just met you. Why is you arguing at me, right?
Right.
Like, I'm at the bar tonight. Bruce, who's not on here yet, so I can't even say anything, but I'm going to because he'll let me, is
Mm-hmm.
talking to me about something that happened with him and a woman and another man, right? And
Right.
he's talking to me, showing me what he's doing. He's like, and I told him, and he's got his finger like literally this. And he goes, hold on, let me back down. I don't want somebody to walk in here
Mm-hmm.
and think that I'm fussing and arguing at you, of all people. I don't want that, to happen. So,
Right.
right, he let me back down. But these are the conversations that we need to have because we are fucking it up. We're fucking it all up. It's what we consider love. I was hurt and he hurt me, loved me, said
Mm-hmm.
he loved me and he hurt me, and
Mm-hmm.
fuck him. You know what? I'm just being honest. Fuck you too, because you didn't heal your shit first. And you
Mm.
went and you chose somebody, and you attracted someone who you were attracting from your pain and your fear. Because
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, as powerful as our positive thoughts are, our negative thoughts are powerful too.
Right.
And if you only choose negative, they are more powerful than your positive. If
Right.
you don't start, and I say this all the time, I can't speak for men, I can't speak for black men, but I can speak for women. I'm not going to tell you what the fuck to do as a man. But
Right.
I am
Fact.
going to tell fucking women what the fuck to do as women. Stop it. Like, stop. We are the only ones who can change the dialogue that goes on between men. You cannot change our dialogue. We are the only ones that can change it. We need to start telling you how valuable and important you are. We need to start telling you that we need you. We
Right.
fucking need you. Our families need you. Our communities need you. I need you. Right? We need to say those things until we stop fucking fussing
Right.
and start telling men that we need them and that we understand how valuable and important and worthy they are.
Right.
This shit is going to continue. What men need to do is, men, Sniper, you can speak to them because you're a fucking man. You can
Hmm.
do that, right? You
Right.
can
Right.
say, as men, we need to do this. I'm not saying that. I'm not talking to men. Just like when I speak on oppression and genocide, I'm not speaking to white folks. They don't give a fuck. I'm not speaking to them. They don't have anything to do with it, right? They're not, they
Right.
don't give a fuck. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to
Hmm.
black people about uniting and coming together. I'm not talking to white, just like I'm same thing here. So this is why I feel the dialogue is so important. Like, as a man, you as a black man, which is
Hmm.
so in fucking important right now.
Hmm.
I had a guy tell me, like, I need a woman and I want a woman.
Mm.
You think I'm gonna go? You don't say need. You should that shit. You men need women, and we fucking women need men. Period. Bottom line. I mean, am I wrong?
No, no, we need each other. We need each other to have a enhanced life experience. I really believe that. You made a lot of great points that I want to go through. So you talked about knowing how important men are. So my upcoming book is called The Day She Learned Chess. That book is for women, right? It's after my men's book, which is called When Men Were Men. So one of the sections in The Day She Learned Chess, I actually make the women, of course, women are going to be reading it. So I
Mhm.
make them envision or imagine that 80% of the men suddenly disappeared in thin air. What would society be if 80% of all adult men disappeared, right? Just imagine that concept of what would happen in the coming days, right? A lot of construction, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of physical things would happen, right? But instantly, I think the most important part of me putting that scenario together is that women would realize how important men are.
Would they?
They would have no choice. Absolutely.
Would they?
Absolutely. I believe so. If
Do
80%
you?
of if 80% of all adult men disappeared in thin air tomorrow morning, I believe so. Absolutely.
80% of the black culture is gone in some way. Emasculated, prison, dead.
Mm.
Let's just be real. We're still not there. We still don't appreciate your presence. We don't worship who you are and what you have to give us. We don't understand the balance that you bring. Like, it may not be 80%, but we are lacking, and we have been lacking generationally in our
Hmm.
communities. My daughter, and I always say this in hopes, and she's never come to me yet and be like, I can't believe you said shit. So I'm
Mm.
hoping that that's still the case. And she comes to me the other day. She's going through it with her boyfriend. Hopefully, best friend don't say nothing either. But, um, and she goes, I should be able to call my daddy. I should be able to call my daddy right now and ask him about some shit and tell me some stuff about some black man that, A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever. Right.
Right.
And I say to her, what can I do? All I can do is apologize
Mm.
for choosing him out of brokenness, for choosing a man who's not capable of being the black man that she needs in her life right now.
Hmm.
Right. And let me just be clear, she has access. I have several beautiful, amazing black men in my life who have offered access for my children because
Mm-hmm.
let me just, there's no shame in my game. I'm a white lady.
Mm-hmm.
I can speak to my children's blackness. I can't. I
Mm-hmm.
can't speak to a man's blackness. I can't speak to a woman's blackness. I can give my children all the knowledge that I have, and I can walk in all the wisdom that I hold, but I will never, ever be able to speak to the blackness in them. Their
Right.
father could, right?
Absolutely.
This is maybe why I appreciate and honor and adore black men in the sense that I do, and I raise too as well. But it's, to me, I can see, what am I explaining, Gilly? What am I explaining, Gilly? Elaborate what I'm explaining, and I will, I promise. I can't talk to her like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say, as a black man speaking to you in a relationship with a black man, A,
Right.
B, C. It doesn't matter how great a mama I am. It doesn't. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter how much wisdom I carry. It doesn't matter how much I've healed. It doesn't matter how much I'm there for my children and allow whatever I allow. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. What matters is that they are seeking their black father that is unavailable to them.
Mm.
And
Wow.
in that moment, to me, I realized how important it is for me to show the wisdom to my seeds so that they can nurture their families and they can nurture I don't have any grandbabies yet. I'm waiting patiently as I can.
Right.
Okay. So Gilly said women were scared when the pandemic started. Let's expand that. What happened? Where do you go? Again, I need to elaborate. Let me go back. I was going down the things, and you can speak on anything that we're talking about. Like if you want to add in, I'm just going back. Healing is not easy, especially when it's generational curses and environmental examples. Think about the pandemic happened. Women were scared of the women were scared of what, Blazer? Twerking don't build buildings. Yeah, definitely not. But I need Blazer to elaborate on, think about the pandemic happened. Women were scared to death.
I saw that.
That makes sense to you? Society will crash and burn. Twerking again. Okay. Trying to copy all of what they see on social media and television and not having the backbone to back it up. Oh, Jason. Hi, Jason. I'm just now seeing your name. So thanks for showing up. Wait a minute. I lost Jason. Hold on. He said something. Do you see it, Sniper? Jason Collins. Why don't some
Unfortunately,
men,
I do not.
Jason Collins, why don't some men realize their importance? Why would you? How would you realize how important you are when all the fuck we say is how shitty men ain't shit? I don't, men
Mhm.
suck, all men, right? Like, again, going back, and I hate to say this, unapologetic manhood. Hey, boo, I'm sorry. Most of these modern women are going to die alone in my Kevin Samuels voice. I can't disagree. Silky
Mm.
Savage, Gilly, masculine women raise lazy men. Ooh. Okay, I want to talk. Okay, first of all, hold on. I got to write that down because I feel like that's a whole show. Masculine women raise lazy men. Okay, we're gonna come back to that, Silky. Or no, not, was it Silky that said that? Yeah, Silky. We're gonna have a whole show on that. Real talk, Savage. A man that does not play his role is lazy. Apologetic manhood, very true. Don't fight them. Let them go left and you go right. Silky Savage, defeated. Was that to me? Because I know I used the word defeated. A man that shows emotion is not soft. That's from Gilly. No man, I'm not soft. Women stepping out of their lane, and men are taking the easy way out. Jason Collins said he is a Sigma male over here.
Mm.
Unapologetic said they called simp enforcer betas.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're a true man in his firm, they will bow. If not, it's easy to dismiss them. I was telling her to suck up her tears. Okay, so Gilly knows when I'm about to cry. She said, suck it up. She knows when I'm about to have an emotional moment. And she's been she's my fucking girl, my sister. She's my ride or die. So that's what she's doing. So yeah. Subscribe, like, share the shit out of the show, comment, which y'all are already been doing, which I love, and I appreciate all of y'all. Maybe if I showed up on time. Yeah, bitch, maybe if you showed up on time. Oh, yes, this is the author of the post. Gilly, fuck your latest shit. That was like 40 minutes in. Yes, he is the author of the original post that we talked about last week, and I didn't want to mention him because I didn't have any of his permission. Like, I get that he's popular and that he has a book, but I didn't have his permission to call his name out, so I didn't speak. So this is part 2 about people who love each other too much, and we are definitely. So I'm on a platform, and I talk about this platform all the time. Gilly's bugging. Let's see what she said. Okay, talking in general terms, women can do it to men. Do men can do with women? Do women can be okay? Gilly, I know you don't drink anymore, so I'll need you to clarify that statement. Women were scared when see, this is okay. I don't personally think that the pandemic had anything to do with anything other than I think a lot of us went more social media than we had prior. Like people who weren't really social media-ists, probably ain't a word, but it is tonight, became social media-ists in the midst of the pandemic.
Well, did they have a choice in the matter because you locked up? You know, you couldn't go anywhere.
What are you gonna do? Who are you gonna talk to?
But regarding women, I think a lot of what happened was when there was a food shortage, there was supply shortage. There were items that were needed in the household that you really couldn't get anywhere. A lot of grocery stores had, pandemonium. When those type of things were going on, I do think a lot of women had a scare. Now, did they completely feel hopeless? No, I'm not going to say that. But did they have a little scare in the back of their mind to make them say, I probably would have got through the pandemic a little easier if I had a strong partner?
I could say that as a woman. You could, but couldn't you say that as a man?
If I had a strong partner? No, I'm saying, well, as far as having a supportive woman, yeah, it would have been easier. But
what about a supportive man? What about us having a supportive man during the pandemic?
Of course,
I personally would have loved it. It's a good thing that I'm not capable of creating and procreating, because during the pandemic, if I would have had a strong man, we'd have had fucking problem. We'd have fucking 42 babies running around this motherfucker.
Oh, wow.
That's just me. I'm just saying, like,
right.
I mean, I think it's both ways. Like, I think people needed people.
Agreed.
But I also think that people lost their damn minds and showed up. They didn't give a fuck. So they were just like, well, this is how I am. And now we starting to really see how the fuck we really are. And there's some of us, for my drinking partner, Bruce, he said it's 90-10. There's 90% of the women that believe the way they believe, which is independent narrative and, I don't need a fucking man and I'll be submissive when the right man shows up shit. Kind of, which is...
That doesn't work. That doesn't work, though.
It doesn't work at all. It doesn't fucking work at all. Let me tell you why. As much as I believe in submission, I've had to be receptive to men telling me you're not receptive to me. What the fuck? You keep talking all this shit And I'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'm not? No,
Right.
because it takes fucking practice when you've walked around generationally in masculinity and
Mm-hmm.
you're carrying an energy that you weren't meant to carry in an overabundance.
Right.
All have our both masculine and feminine, but we were not supposed to carry this much masculine energy.
Not at all.
And so now that we are generationally passing it, birthing our girls into this feminine energy, creating generational curses that didn't even fucking exist before. Now let's
Mm-hmm.
just make up some more shit and just fucking let's just fucking doom our children and our girls to some other shit. And then
You
here
know,
we are.
I would like to. I'm going to give you a little preview of the book, right?
Please do.
Um, Real quick. And this is The Day She Learned Chess. And this part is called Signs You're a Masculine Woman, right?
If
So I'm
you,
just going
I'm telling you right now, if you say some shit and they come off on me, we gonna fight after the show in the parking lot across the street. Just so you know. But go ahead.
I got you. Just real quick. Signs You're a Masculine Woman. Number one, you have unaddressed anger issues and no idea of the source. But worse, you have no plan to address it and feel it's just a part of who you are. Number two, the way the only way you can relate to men is by being in competition with them. Seeing a man succeed in anything in life prompts unexcused jealousy. You see life as a men versus women never-ending battle. Number three, you love to argue that you're waiting for a real man to put you in feminine energy, which is perpetual victimhood. Number five, you feel the only way for a relationship to go well is if you're in complete control. Then, when it doesn't go well, you immediately blame the man without looking at your contribution. Seeking control blocks femininity. Number six, the concept of a man being the leader triggers you every time, and you believe being under a man is beneath you.
If I knew you better, I'd kiss you in your mouth. Not disagreeing with any of that. And I'm also checking myself as you're reading, like, am I there? No, moved on. Am I there? No, I'm good. I mean,
Mhm.
literally, I'm not, I'm not, I feel like I'm not there in any of those places. I could be wrong. I mean, and
Mm.
someone could challenge me and that would be fine. I would, I would check it and see if that were the case. But I mean, those are really good. uh, I mean, what can I say? That's fucking accurate as fuck. I mean, do y'all agree with that? Because that shit is accurate as shit. Is it not accurate? I feel like it is. Okay. Blazer Business said it's not the same, Kim, but I don't know what he was talking about. But okay, and Lej Lejla, maybe, possibly. Hello, thanks for coming. What's no mean, baby? I need to know. We need we you when y'all talk and answer what y'all need to elaborate so we know. We don't know if you're what you're elaborate. Hey Santino, hey boo. I'm late. You are, but I'm gonna forgive you because I like you. Um. So real quick, two things. Number one, subscribe, like, and share the shit out of the show. Everybody's already commented. I don't have to say that. Sniper, if you could, do you have a link or anything where we can get your books that you can put in the chat that you can, because I really feel like, we need to read your shit.
Sure. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna put it there. Okay, so Leja said I just came in and was just saying no to what Sniper was saying. Haha. Mostly just joking since I don't know the context. Okay, so basically we're talking about if you can love someone too much and if we think that love equates to toxic behavior, which we have both decided that and agreed that that's really what he was saying in his post initially. Because he said if you love someone too much, European spelling, totally cool. We love that you're not here and speaking on, because we don't know what the fuck we're doing over here. Obviously, we're fucking it all up, and we're trying to make things right. Some of us. So needing a strong woman was a negative. Bargains for you too. Thanks for coming to the show. I appreciate everybody who's here. For you too. Thanks for coming to the show. I appreciate everybody who's here. Laser business, needing a strong woman was a negative. I need you to elaborate. I need to elaborate, right? Needing a strong woman was a negative. I feel like needing a strong woman is a negative unless you look at a strong woman if she's strong in the sense that she's supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be nurturers. So be a strong nurturer. We're supposed to be the things that we are supposed to be strong. I mean, the things that we are supposed to be, we need to be strong in those things. If we're submissive, we need to be strong in our submissiveness. We need to stop fucking up what submissiveness means. Submissiveness is not obligation. That's not what it is. Submissiveness is that we honor and adore and respect our partner, and we choose to. Me personally, I haven't really talked to anybody who has the same insight as me on this, but so I'm just going to say what mine is. When I say submissive, I mean that I take the masculine energy that I'm overloaded with generationally and otherwise, that I have to be in when I'm at work because I'm in a male dominant career. It's not a career. I'm an entrepreneur, but I submit. In other words, I take that extra masculine energy and I give it to the man that is in my presence so that I can fully embrace my femininity and walk in my nurturing, wholesome energy. I'm not walking in that negative. So I can be a strong woman in the sense that I am her. This is just how I go. Sorry, Sniper. So, and then let me talk about what Sniper said about a woman. I say this all the time. There's not a right man that's going to show up. That narrative, those memes out there, you're a different woman with a different man. No shit, you're different with every man until you know who the fuck you are. And then you show up in who you are with every man moving forward. And if they're not the man for you, then they're just not. It's so fucking simple. But you're a different woman with every man because you try to reciprocate his energy, and then you decrease yourself to give him something in hopes to get something back to increase yourself because you've decreased it. I know I confused a lot of you motherfuckers, and if I did, fucking press rewind when this is over and go back to this place right here and listen to what I say, okay? Because you're decreasing yourself, I'm going to say it again, in hopes to give another person, you're reciprocating their energy in hopes that they give you something back to increase yourself again to the capacity where you feel whole and as a woman. It's not the fuck how it works, okay? You show up as you are, who you are, when you are, and what you are. And you wait patiently for the man who accepts you as that. And who is who he is and who he needs to be in relationship to you. And you balance each other perfectly. You do not wait for him to be something or try to convince him to be something that he's not to make you fucking happy. It's not how it works.
Kimberly, let me give you a scenario. I want your opinion on it.
Ooh, yes, please.
Because I tell this not all the time, but this is something that's in the book too. It's a little theory of mine. So what happens in a lot of relationships is the man and woman, they get together and they'll have a great time. Could be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. Everything's great, right? But what happens a lot of times in modern relationships is there's a lot of outside outside forces that influences the woman based on what they think she should have or what she should be or things she should get. She takes these things back to the man. And now it's a question of, well, wait, he does this, he should be doing this. Wait, he does that, he should be doing this, right?
Right.
So they now they're starting to have a lot of arguments, a lot of turmoil, a lot of situations that they didn't have to deal with before, but because she brought so much other outside influences to the relationship, he's trying now. What happens is the man starts to emotionally bow out slowly of the relationship,
Right.
and unfortunately, what happens is the woman's feelings based on the outside influences hijacks the entire relationship. So instead of the relationship just being those two people together in sync and in love, now it's all about what she's quote unquote feeling that she should have or should be or etc. So her feelings represent 60% of the relationship now, right? And then they split the 42, the rest of the 40%, him and her. And
Right.
it's a struggle between trying to get that mantle back between her and her feelings. And that's what I believe most modern relationships are.
I absolutely agree because unfortunately, again, narratives, I talk about them all the time. Memes, you can call them what you want, but they're narratives still at the end of the day.
Right.
We have all these, people, oh, well, so and so, and then they say, I don't know any celebrities. Everybody knows that follows me. So I don't have a fucking TV. I don't watch TV. I don't give a fuck about a celebrity. I don't care what they are doing if it doesn't promote love and or liberation. I don't give a shit what they're doing. They ain't got shit to do with me. You got all that fucking money and you unhappy? Get the fuck out of my face with that shit. That's how I feel, okay?
Right.
I don't have other people's goals. I don't give a fuck what another person is doing in their relationship because those two people have absolutely nothing to do with me other than the fact that they are male and female or they're just in a relationship, whatever their relationship is.
Right.
But I'm talking about male and female because that's how I move. It doesn't affect me even if you are a male or a female or anything in between or outside of. It doesn't matter. I'm not looking at another person and saying I want to be like them. If you want to look at me when my fucking husband shows up, Sniper, by the way, if you don't know, if he's lost, I don't know where he's at, but if you run across him, I'm gonna inbox you my address. You can be like, hey, Kim's been waiting for you.
Right.
She's preparing herself for a long fucking time, and I'm tired of hearing about it. So could you show up and go get her, please? I'll let you know. But that's our shit. That's our individual relationship. It's what it looks like. I don't give a fuck about a celebrity or another couple or anybody else or what they're doing or how they're moving. If you have $50 million in your bank account, you're not fucking moving like me because I have 5. So we're not moving the same. Okay.
Right.
I don't give a fuck where you're at in your healing life. I don't give a fuck where you're at in your trauma or your pain. None of that matters to me. I'm not out to be someone else to have a goal for me in my relationship. I'm out to see how we move and how we balance each other. And is it a good balance? Because I'm whole, Sniper's whole, for the sake of the conversation, you guys. And do we balance each other in this whole state that we're in? Or do we not? Do we harmonize? Do we move? You know what I mean? It's literally that simple. But people spend their entire life and relationships trying to convince Sniper, this is what I believe. This is how I move. I need you to reciprocate and move the same way. Cognitive dissonance is a motherfucker, and it is ruining relationships because We are literally spending our lives trying to convince the other person that we want you to believe how we believe and we want you to move how we move. No, move how you move. Be
Right.
patient and wait till you find somebody who moves like you do so that you can be balanced and you can be in harmony. It's
Mm-hmm.
really simple. Okay, let's see what some of the comics say. Makes the best sandwiches. First of all, I make the bomb ass sandwiches. Let's just be clear about that. So European, I'm gonna say that this person's name is Leila, but I could be wrong. It could be Layla. I make hella money, $65 an hour. If you can make a sandwich and wash some dishes, you're good enough for me. Okay, so apparently, are you? I'm not gonna ask that question. K Boogie, the F word that can make or break a good thing. Fuck, like the actual act or the word me, like how I use it, because I say fuck a lot. Feelings are holding the world upside down, says Blazer Business. Oh God, let me address this real quick, fast, in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
We have really got to stop acting like emotions cannot be a part of a relationship, because we are women are emotional creatures.
Right.
Our emotions are who we are. And if
Mm-hmm.
you address us and ask us to suppress them, feelings. Oh, the F word, feelings. K Boogie said the F word is feelings.
Mm.
If you ask a woman not to be emotional, just the same as you ask a man to be emotional, and he's not an emotional creature,
Mm-hmm.
we all have emotions.
Right.
And there's a show on Netflix called Sense8. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's the fucking greatest show that's ever existed in life. The love that is shown and the relationships for love, I mean, and the non-judge, I mean, it's really, you guys should all watch it. Seriously. The relationships in that show are why I love that show, because of the relationships that they have. And they're all different. There's gay men, gay women, I don't know what we're considered now, normal people, if we're considered normal or standard, but men and
Right.
women, whatever. There's all different types of relationships. But one of the things, during one of the marriages of the two women, she says, we're all told not to accept our emotions, not to believe our emotions, not to work, function out of that. But that's
Mm-hmm.
what we do. We as women, that's who we are,
Right.
and have emotions. And I tell people all the time, we don't nourish those. Hi, Anthony. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you. What we don't do is appreciate the men and their emotion.
Mm.
We're here to nurture you. So if
Mm-hmm.
you show up to us because you're in the emotion, your mama died, your brother died, it was a bad fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen got shot 60 times by a white police officer, and you're fucking terrified by the time you get home, and you're fucking happy to be there. We need
Right.
to embrace and nurture that emotion for you.
Right.
You need to say, come into me, lay your head on my belly, and let me be in a peaceful environment for you, so that you understand that you are safe here, and that you are loved, and that you can be emotional, and that
Mm-hmm.
you are allowed to be scared, and that you are allowed to be sad, and you are allowed to be all the things, because you aren't that way all the time. Most men are not emotional all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're emotional because you are fucking tired, and you are fucking distraught, and you are looking for a little bit of peace.
Mm.
And then we unvalidate that. Why are you so emotional? Why you got to be this way? What the fuck? We're the nurturers. We're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to love you, and we're supposed to allow you to be where you are and nurture that emotion with you, because you're not comfortable in that emotion. You don't
Right.
know how to be in that emotion. We do. We've lost all sense of that balance between us. We have fucking forgotten who we are as women. And that we can't love you fucking too much. I'm gonna love you too.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, if you my person, you gonna tell all that motherfucker love me way too much. She do way too much for me. She's way too good for me. She's way too good to me. She treats me, she nurtures me, she loves me, she doesn't judge me. I got peace when I come home. I got hot food and hot when I get home. That's the fucking way it should be, right? That's what
Right.
we're fucking here for. We have totally forgotten that aspect of who we are. We've totally
What I say about women is that regarding women and their emotions, I tell women in the book that's not out yet, The Day She Learned Chess, is that any environment that belittles you because of your emotions, you have to peacefully leave and reject, right?
Mhm.
And I have a portion of the book called Emotional Facilitation, where I talk about that a man who loves you will never say something like, don't be emotional. He wants you to be as emotional as you need to be. So he's going to say, when it's time for you to cry, or when you feel like you need to cry, cry every tear, cry as long as you need to, cry until you're ready to take a nap. That's what a man who loves you is going to say. Now, from the woman's side, what I say is that, hey, your emotions, you should feel them in full, but you can't control exactly what the emotion is, but you can control what you do with the emotion, right? So what I mean is, when you're sad, feel the sadness, right? Communicate to a friend, but you can't hold people hostage because you're sad. You can't make people feel bad because you're sad. And that's the thing about it. So women should feel all of their emotions in full. But within that, there is emotional responsibility. So we have to watch what we do with the emotions. And I think that's, something I would communicate.
Let me add to that and say,
Mm.
I think that it is our reaction to our emotion that got us in this conversation in the first place.
Mm.
Because you can't love too much, but you can think that you do, and then you project bad behavior. You cannot, as a woman, be too emotional, but you can react to the emotions because you have not healed yourself. You
Hmm.
act in a very I don't want to say negative, toxic. Your reaction is a toxic behavior. And
Hmm.
these are the things that we need to sort out. These are the things that we need to fucking have conversations about. Because I can be emotional and I can start throwing shit and
Right.
breaking shit and screaming at shit, right? Or I can be emotional and I can just be fucking sad and I need to lay on your fucking chest, like you said, and just allow those emotions to come out. And I can be in a peaceful environment and and allow those emotions to be. I tell people all the time, whatever you're sitting with, whatever emotion that you have, whether
Hmm.
you're okay with it or not, you should sit with it, talk to it, engage with it. Okay,
Right.
I have this emotion.
Hmm.
I understand that you're here. I understand. Then find out why. If you don't already know why they're there, then why are you here? Spend time with that emotion, and then tell the bitch to get the fuck on. You got shit to do. I got shit to do. I can't just be here with you all the time.
Right. Right.
Shit I gotta do. I used to fight with an ex boyfriend, and hold on, testosterone levels among women aren't the same, so that's the same goes with men. So whatever we think how things should be is likely vague. Just give me a second. I'm gonna address it. I had a boyfriend who used to get mad and like slam doors and scream and literally stomp his feet. And I would say to him, I understand that you're mad. I understand that you're upset, and you are allowed to be mad. You are allowed to be upset. But can you just look at your own behavior for just like, a second? And like,
Hmm.
is it necessary for you to slam the door? Is it
Right.
necessary for you to stomp your literal feet?
Hmm.
Is it necessary for you to throw shit across the, that's not you being in your emotion. That is you having bad behavior as a
Mm-hmm.
reaction to the emotion that you're carrying. You
Right.
can be mad, you can be upset, you can be pissed off, you can be in utter turmoil, but you
Mm-hmm.
still have a choice about the behavior and the reaction that you choose to engage with and what you choose to project when it comes to that emotion that you're carrying. And
Right.
that's where I think that we need to have the type of conversation.
So I tell this as well, that women, you have to sit in your emotional sauna. And as you sit there, purge those emotions. Because just because you have the emotions, this is what I was saying earlier, it doesn't give you a license to treat people any type of way just because you're having negative emotions.
Mm-hmm.
If you see it that way, you probably would have a better, encounter with lovers and friends. But you have to see it that way first.
Mm-hmm. This
Yeah.
is true. And Blaze business. So Jay put this up. Women's uncontrolled emotions have ruined men's life, children's life, and other women's life. So this is the kind of shit. I don't mean it this way. This is how I talk, and people should know that by now. This is the kind of shit we need to dissect.
Hmm.
It's not the emotion; it's the behavior
Right.
that is projected because of the emotion. It's
Right.
not the emotion. We have to stop beating up emotions. We have to stop beating up love. We have to stop beating up logic. It is
Hmm.
the emotions that follow all three of those things that create the toxicity in relationships, that are creating the narratives that are dividing us as men and women.
Hmm.
That's what we need to address. We have, and that it is exactly what the fucking show is about. We have to stop using words and understand that what we are as human beings. I am an emotional, nurturing creature.
Right.
My behavior in response to the emotional, nurturing need is what is either toxic or what is either not toxic.
Hmm.
So because I can nurture and then treat you like a damn child and you a grown ass man. That's
Right.
not nurturing. That what that is I've taken my nurturing and I've projected my bad behavior onto a man that I chose, by the way. And I'm saying we got fucking bad and he don't act right. And now we got a baby. And no, we heifers, because I like to say bitches is not to them. We heifers have
Hmm.
we collectively, man and woman, chose each other. We
Hmm.
collectively chose to lay down and go raw. We collectively now have a child. Those are the realities. We collectively are all these things when you're engaging in a relationship. You need to work on you individually. I need to work on me individually. And then we need to work on us collectively. And the
Hmm.
same energy that is from I and you needs to go into the we. It is not 50-50. It is
Right.
100-100. Because again, let me reiterate, love cannot be depleted. You cannot love someone too much. You can think that you do. But if you think I love her too much, please address yourself because you love yourself less than you should. That
Mm.
is the bottom fucking line. You do not love yourself enough to be in a whole healing relationship, and you're not walking in your wisdom. You're walking and you're loving out of your pain. And those are the things that need to be addressed. We are at an hour and 30 minutes. I try to only do an hour. Never works out that way. So I'm gonna close out. Let me just look real quick at the comments just to see. So women are too emotional. We addressed that. Santino said he needs that type of love. We all do. We fucking all need to be loved in a whole healthy way. Period. It's the emotion that leads your behavior. It's you that leads your behavior, Blazer. Your emotion does not lead it unless you allow it to. You have to say, whatever I'm feeling, I'm responsible for my reaction to that feeling. We're gonna call Lejla the European person. I'm a big fan of an individual basis judgmental processing strategies approach rather than lumping the entire gender into the same box and labeling it, which can introduce a lot of complications. Okay, yes, kinda. Um, and I'll say this: I am a woman. I was born a woman. I will die a woman. And I solely speak on relationships between a man and a woman in that perspective, in that balance, in that harmony. I cannot speak on any other level because I don't belong to any other group. I belong to the group that I belong to. And so um, I'm not saying right or wrong or indifference, but I am, women don't own up to or take accountability so it doesn't work the way you say. Blazer, here's the thing, it does work the way I say when you're dealing with a whole healed woman who's walking in her wisdom and you're dealing with a whole healed man that's walking in his. It does fucking work that way. Sniper, am I lying? I mean, there
No,
are the relationships.
no, you're definitely telling the truth. It takes two. At the end of the day, and the overall topic about loving too much or too in love, like you said before, mainly is someone not loving themselves, and it's a deficit, right? It's a,
Absolutely
it's a
agree.
deficit.
There's no
So
such thing as a whole healed woman. Blazer, come on, bruh, woman, girl. What, I'm not sure what, but no. I mean, I'm completely in disagreement with you because, baby, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a whole healed woman and I walk in my wisdom and I'm still on a journey of evolution because why would we stop evolving and why would we become stagnant? Prove me wrong, baby. Prove me wrong. Why I gotta prove you wrong? You prove me wrong. You prove me wrong because of all the things that you can say on this show. What you're not going to say is there's no such thing as a whole healed woman because we exist and we are fucking out here. And I promise you that we are the ones who are fighting for the balance. We are fighting for the harmony and we are fighting to allow other women to engage in encouraging and loving and worshiping men. I think men are the most amazing creatures. And before I close out the show, because I'm going to close because I'm talking too much. Before I close out the show, I'm going to say one last time to subscribe, like, comment, share the shit out of the show. Big shout out to Jim Savage, my producer, everybody who showed up on the show. Sniper, he didn't have to come on here because after the last show, he was not on. I talked about his post and he could have said, like, this is just crazy. I'm not about to talk to her because she was not nice about what but please put your link, Sniper, if in the comments, if you
oh
can.
yeah, I did. I put both links to the books
Okay.
In the
Right.
comments. But
Right. And Blazer, yes, there's a lot of nonsense, and that's why we're here. We're talking about how to negate that and get around that and be whole healed people because we do exist. I mean, it happens. If you talk, and I'm just being honest, if you talk to people that know me intimately and you talk to them who have talked to me and had conversations with me and see how I move, they will tell you that whole healed women exist who walk in their wisdom and they are submissive and they are loving and they are nurturing and we are out here and we want to love on you, but if you keep thinking that we don't exist, you are not going to get loved on by us because you don't believe in us. And as I say all the time, you believing in me is not a prerequisite for me believing in you, but you believing in me is a prerequisite for me believing in me. You feel what I'm saying? If you don't understand that, come back to the show, go to these last 2 minutes, and keep replaying it until you understand what I'm telling you. You are not going to receive a whole healed woman if you don't believe in her. You are going to attract the exact opposite because you fear a woman like me. That's just the bottom line. You attract what you believe in. So heal yourself, heal your wounds, heal your trauma, show up as the best fucking human that you can be, then show up as the best man that you can be, and then believe in the opposite of that. Period. Bottom line. Sniper, I am so fucking grateful for you for showing up. And you gave me way more than 45 minutes. I'm more than grateful for that as well, too.
Right.
And for everybody, again, who's on the show, thank you. And as I say on every show, and I'm going to say again, for the Black men that are on my show, I believe in you. We need you desperately. You are worthy and you are loved. And we'll see you next week, 8 p.m., Tuesday nights, Central Time on SavageCom.entertainment. Bye.